Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. Going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days for today's video. This will take us into the second half of April, of course, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles, which runs around a couple of weeks. We'll also have a look at the CFSV2 for the next month as well. So I'll bring you up to date with all of the latest developments in a moment. Just to say that if you would like to support Gal Service, you can do so by becoming a patron for Gal Service. We've got 61 patrons so far, so if you'd like to become a patron for Gal Service, all you need to do is come to Gal Service Patreon page. We're on that page right now. You sign up for a Patreon account, and then you can pledge an ongoing monthly donation to Gal Service. It can be anything from $1 a month upwards. You'll pull in with all of the other patrons, and you'll be helping us to pay for our website and for our content. So a big thank you to all of our patrons. We've got 61 patrons so far. Hello, and a big thank you to all of you. If you'd rather give a one-off donation to Gal Service, you can do so via the Gal Service PayPal page. Again, I'm on that page right now. You just come to the Gal Service PayPal page. You sign up. You sign into your PayPal account. Most people have one of those these days. And you can send a one-off donation to Gal Service. Whether you do it through Patreon or PayPal, you will get a mention in the videos. We'll give you a shout out. We'll say thank you so much for your donation. Unless you'd rather stay anonymous, if so, then just leave a little note with your donation telling us that you'd rather not have a shout out. We are happy to give a mention to your website or to your business as well, your business website. So it's however you want to have the mention, really. Just let us know with your donation. Big thank you to all other patrons and donors. You're helping us to pay for Gal Service and keep content online. So a big thank you to all of you for doing that. We're primarily ads funded and will be remaining so, but this gives us another revenue stream. So a big thank you to all of our donors and patrons. Right, centering temperature then, and we're currently looking like this with Hadley. Now, this is updated to the 6th, so it hasn't updated for yesterday. Up to the 6th of April, we're standing at 6.6 degrees, an anomaly, or an anomaly of 0.2 degrees above average. So we're about average, really, up to the 6th day of April. As I say, not been updated for yesterday, so we don't know where we're standing, really, up to the 7th, but certainly up to the 6th, very close to average with the central England temperature, and a little bit under March. That came out, of course, at 7.8, an anomaly of over 2 degrees above average. So rather a cool start to April, perhaps. But again, that is provisional, so it is subject to a bit of change. But normally the change would be on the downward side with that, actually. So very rare to get an upwards correction at month's end. Normally we get a downwards correction. So it may actually be a little bit cooler up to the 6th anyway than that is showing. These are how the 500 millibar high anomaly flowcharts from the Penn State University are looking for the next couple of weeks, or the next 10 days, I should say, week to 10 days. We've got the ECMWF here on the top. The GFS, which we'll have a look in a moment, is on the bottom. 500 millibars, 8,000 feet is an area in the atmosphere. High pressure, low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. Red extrapolates high pressure, blue to low pressure. You can see it with the ECMWF in the week to 10 day time frame. We've got this area of above average height sitting to the north and northeast of the country, with below average heights out in the Atlantic. So low pressure in the Atlantic, high pressure is to our northeast. Bit of a battle going on, therefore. The jet stream is doing something a bit like that. Bit of a split in the jet, with some of the energy going down into the Mediterranean, some of it going northwards into the North Atlantic. And of course, that big area of high pressure will be bringing in kind of like an east to southeasterly type flow. So probably as we go into the 10-day time frame, becoming rather milder perhaps with that. It's beginning to bring the air up from central southern parts of Europe as opposed to northern parts of Europe. So probably as we get through to the 10-day time frame, that will see the temperatures starting to lift up. The GFS is very similar. So again, we've got this area of above average height sitting to our north and northeast. Quite a large blocking feature up there. Below average heights are out in the Atlantic. So jet stream again, that's going into that kind of direction. Maybe a little bit more of an easterly, if anything, with the with the GFS, but they are very similar solutions, and they're both showing the Atlantic rather blocked off, low pressure generally being diverted down to the south of us, down into southern parts of Europe, and high pressure blocking things out to our north and northeast. Not necessarily all that cold though, as we get into the 10 to 14 day time frame. We might find the temperatures beginning to lift up. We can see that actually on the GFS ensembles. So this is looking at the upper air temperatures in London. The red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average for London. So at the moment we're above average, and we're going to remain above average until around Wednesday anyway. And then after that though, at the end of the week and into next weekend, a bit of a cold snap appearing. So it does look as though we'll start to pull in some colder easterly winds at the end of the week and into the weekend, but not lasting all that long. And as we go into the second half of April, as this period just here, and going up to Easter, of course, we see the upper air temperatures lifting back up once again. So probably seeing quite a cold easterly coming up at the end of this week and into the weekend, but after that, probably reverting back to southeasterlies and seeing temperatures becoming quite a lot milder probably through the course of next week. Now, as far as precipitation is concerned, we have got some heavy showers coming up down across the south today and tomorrow. Don't be all that surprised if you was to hear a rumble of thunder at some point down in the south over the next couple of days. But once that's out of the way, once we get through to Wednesday onwards, looks very dry actually as we're going into the middle and then into the second half of April. It's not until right at the very end that the precipitation spikes start to reappear. So it does look as though we're in for a bit of a dry spell actually as we go through the second week of April and into the middle part of the month, becoming really quite dry once again. Bear in mind that's for London, so it's one of the drier places in the country. If we look at somewhere like Manchester, it'll probably be a little bit more unsettled than that's showing. But overall, it does look as though we are going into another fairly protracted spell of dry weather actually, once the next couple of days and the heavy showers that we've got in the next couple of days are out of the way. Temperature anomalies from the 8th to the 16th of April generally coming out a little bit below average, not just for the UK and Ireland, but actually for most parts of Europe. So it's quite a cold scene actually across many parts of Europe in the weekend, particularly so for Scandinavia, where some parts of Scandinavia are seeing temperature anomalies going down to kind of like 6 to 8 degrees below average. For the UK, we're not as cold as that, but we are kind of like 2 to 4 degrees below average in one or two places. So it does look a fairly chilly week coming up. That will be particularly so at the weekend. I think more on that in a moment. Precipitation anomalies generally looking quite dry. You can see that for southern southeastern parts of England, the precipitation anomaly from the 8th to the 16th of April is a little bit above average down there, and that's primarily for the next 24 to 48 hours, these heavy showers I was talking about in the next couple of days. But for northern parts of the country, significantly drier than average, and once we get the next couple of days out of the way, I think even down in the southeast, you will see these charts going drier than average once again. So this is how the GFS is looking for Thursday. High pressure is taking over by Thursday across Scandinavia, and we're bringing in these not particularly cold easterly winds. That lasts into Friday. By the time we get through to Saturday, we do start to tap into some colder air from the northeast. If you follow the isobars back, you'll see that the air is actually originating from up here, so from north of east. That's an important difference as we go through to the weekend, because that allows cold air to push out of the northeast and into the west of Europe. So over the weekend we are looking at the chance of a cold snap. There's those upper air temperatures showing that the -5 Celsius ice firm is pushing across many parts of the UK. That's cold enough to bring wintry showers potentially onto the east coast, and maybe more impactfully, quite significant night frost. This is the 13th of April. Be a lot of fruit blossom out by this point. So farmers, fruit growers, you really will have to cover up, I think, over the weekend. There could be some quite nasty, very late season frost coming up at the weekend. Those easterly winds continue into Sunday. The only saving grace of this is that it might drag in a lot of clouds. If there's a lot of cloud coming in with these easterly winds, although temperatures will be cold and it would be cold enough for night frost, if it's cloudy by night, that will probably hold the temperatures up above freezing. So that's the one saving grace till we've got easterlies rather than northerlies. Northerlies will give a definite frost risk in middle of April. Easterlies, even though they might be cold easterlies, probably, if they're cloudy, probably still staying frost-free at night. So just watch out for that anyway if you're a farmer, grower, or gardener. That's how the upper air temperatures look on Sunday. Still looking pretty cold. Not as cold as they are on Saturday, but we are generally still within cold air. So it's a definite cold snap that the GFS is forecasting for the weekend. Into next week, we keep those easterlies going, but gradually they're easing off, and the origins of the air slowly starting to become more south of east. So origins of the air coming more from that area on those east winds. That could be a milder direction. So early next week, we still keep winding from the east generally, but temperatures should start to become less cold. Possibly some sort of trough moving in from the North Sea around the middle of next week. That might bring some primarily rain showers by that point. And then a little bit beyond day 10, we just keep this area of high pressure in control. Really, low pressure is out to the southwest, always trying to threaten some showers or maybe some more persistent areas of rain. But really, it's this area of high pressure that's ruling the roost, keeping things mainly dry. And as we go to the end of the GFS run, which takes us beyond Easter, the high pressure is still well and truly in control, and we're bringing in the wind from an easterly direction still. But the origins of the air can be quite warm, coming up from southern parts of Europe. So once we get the cold snap out of the way next weekend, temperatures generally are lifting up then into the second half of April. This is how the GFS parallel run is looking. So again, we've got that high pressure over Scandinavia on Thursday, and it's going to weekend. We bring in more of an east-northeast wind, which could bring some cold air flooding in across the west of Europe. Certainly cold enough for night frost, maybe some wintry showers too. Night frost if the skies are clear with those east to northeast winds. Into next week, again the high pressure is in control, but low pressure is trying to come in from the Atlantic. We're cutting off that northeasterly supply of air, so temperatures should start to recover through to the early part of next week. That gets us to day 10, which is Thursday the 18th of April. Still with this area of high pressure blocking to our north. Low pressure is down to the south. The winds are still coming in from an easterly direction. In the more extended range, you have a go at building up a Greenland high with the GFS parallel run. This is Good Friday, 19th of April, and we are very close to starting to pull down a cold northerly wind there. You would look at that on Easter Saturday, 20th of April, and think we're guaranteed to pull down a very cold northerly, because we have got a 1,045 millibar area of high pressure over Greenland, and then there's this area of low pressure in the Norwegian Sea that looks like it's getting set to plunge southwards. So that looks poised to deliver a northerly shot for Easter. Actually, somehow or other, that gets shoved off into Scandinavia, that low pressure, and the high pressure kind of like slips down from Greenland into the UK. So we just about managed to fend off that attack from the north, although as we go a little bit beyond Easter, this is taking us up towards the Wednesday, the 24th of April, and what we see then is that the high pressure is just kind of like slipping down through the UK. So if we get rid of that, actually, because that was yesterday's run. So there we are. We're back to Easter Saturday, Monday the 8th. We're back to Easter Saturday, generated today, Monday the 8th of April. There we look poised to bring down those northerly winds. But we go through to the 22nd of April. That's Easter Monday, and we haven't managed to tap into those northerly winds. Instead, this high pressure just slipped down across the country, has kept those northerlies at bay. That cold air kind of like gone shooting down into Scandinavia, and then that's how we finish up with the parallel GFS run on Wednesday the 24th of April under an area of high pressure. Does get very, very close though at this point. The 20th of April gets very, very close to pulling down a proper northerly shot there, so we obviously need to keep a close eye on what's happening there around the Easter period. Easter updates have started at Gauss Weathers, by the way. Did the first one yesterday. It's a pretty good update actually, a lot of dry and fairly warm weather on offer with that Easter update. Next one is going to be tomorrow, so just watch your space for Easter updates. ECMWF is looking like this. So again, we've got the high pressure to our northeast as we go through into the end of the week, and then into weekend we're pulling more of an east or northeasterly flow that could bring some colder air in across the UK, particularly to England and Wales over the weekend. Doesn't last long though. Early next week, although the high pressure is still there over Scandinavia, winds are going more south of east, so that's bringing up milder air through the course of next week from central and southern parts of Europe. That's how we finish at day 10, which is Thursday the 18th of April. Maundy Thursday has high pressure well and truly in control of the weather. It's still there to our north and northeast, but the air should be relatively mild, maybe even quite warm if the sun comes out, with a wind from a southerly to southeasterly direction. These are the scenarios that are on the table from the Icelandic Met Office with the ECM WF. We're looking at yesterday's midday run because they haven't updated for today's midnight run yet at the time when I'm recording the video, which is coming up for 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So last night, these were the scenarios on the table from the Icelandic Met Office in terms of the ECM WF ensembles at day 10, which yesterday, of course, was the 17th of April. We have 51 out of 51, 100% of ECM ensemble members, with high pressure sitting to our north and east. So high pressure in control up to the 17th of April, bringing in the wind from an easterly direction, but probably not particularly cold. The origins of the air would be more south of east with most of those. And then as we go through to 2 weeks away, which was last night, 22nd of April, 360 hours. We had 20 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure over and to the west of the country, so they've got high pressure mainly in control, bringing a lot of dry weather there around the Easter period. 16 taking the high pressure out in the Atlantic and moved up to Greenland, with a trough of low pressure developing underneath it, so those ones much more unsettled for Easter and quite cold as well. Jet stream doing something like that, so on the cold side of a jet. And then another 15 has high pressure sitting over and just a little bit to the west of the UK, so they're mainly dry and anticyclonic, possibly a bit chilly, possibly bring the wind down from the northwest. But overall, it does look as though the ECM ensembles last night anyway were favouring high pressure to be dominant around and beyond Easter. The minimal option there, the 16 that are more unsettled, they are a minority option. They were a minority option with the ECM ensembles. Finally, CFS V2, these are 500 millibar heights broken down to week periods. The first week period takes us from the 8th to the 14th of April. The coming week has high pressure sitting to our north and east. Low pressure is in the middle of the Atlantic. So a lot of dry weather on offer in the next few days once we get the showers out of the way today and tomorrow down in the south. Fair amount of high pressure dominated weather and not particularly cold with that either. Then we go through to week 2, that is the 15th to 21st of April. The high pressure then is sitting to our south with low pressure out to the west. So that might be a little bit more unsettled, but it's generally quite mild, bringing wind up from a southwesterly type direction. Week 3 looks like this. It's the 22nd to 28th of April with above average heights then to the west of the UK. A trough is in over Scandinavia, so quite cold for them. We're just on the periphery of that, probably not too bad temperature wise, and still mainly dry with high pressure dominating. And then week 4, which is the 29th of April through to the 5th of May, that one brings a high pressure back in over the top of the UK. So that's starting May on a dry and potentially reasonably warm note. Temperature anomalies in the week ahead. The 8th to 14th of April, CFS V2, milder than average, a warmer than average week coming up. That goes on into week 2 as well, the 15th to the 29th. Oops, that goes through to the 15th to the 29th of April. Let's go down there and look at that. So we see that it is milder than average in that week as well. Week 3, which is the 22nd, 28th of April. That one is closer to average, so a little bit cooler in week 3. Week 4 generally is above average with those temperature anomalies. Once again, a very mild month coming up then, if that's right. Finally, precipitation with CFS V2. The coming week, the 8th to 14th of April, is rather unsettled actually, above average precipitation, maybe surprisingly so. Then we go through to week 2, 15th, 21st of April is close to average. Week 3, again, that one is close to average. It's 22nd, 28th of April. And then finally week 4, which is 29th of April to 5th of May. Overall, a little bit drier than average as high pressure builds back in across the country. So, I think the trends over the next few days are going to be for a bit of a cold snap up weekend, firming up a little bit with model output over the last day or so on cold east or northeasterly winds coming up for the weekend. It looks like it's a 2 or 3 day wonder, and then next week we go back, still with easterly winds, but we go back to milder temperatures as the wind starts to push up from southern parts of Europe. Temperatures begin to stage a recovery. What we are picking up on here, though, potentially for the next couple of weeks, is that there's a lot of dry weather on offer. There may be heavy thundery showers today and tomorrow down in the south, but once they're out of the way, it looks like we are picking up on a trend for really quite dry conditions, albeit with temperatures rather up and down. Right, that's it for your video for today. We're back tomorrow with another week to 10-day video update. We'll also have a look at the ECMWF ensemble model for the next 30 days for the UK and for more widely in Europe too. So keep checking back to the updates. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching.